Good evening, guys. Today we are back with another problem. Today's particular problem statement is to solve the finding the maximum distance between the two occurrences of an element in an array with repeated elements. So what you guys can clearly see that we will be given an array. The array will consist of some elements, and we have to find the occurrences of every elements, and we have to find the occurrences of those elements which are repetitive in nature. Say for example 1 1 2 2 2 and 1 is there, so the elements which are repetitive in nature includes 2 and 1 respectively. So what you can see, where 2 is found at the highest distance. 2 is found at the highest distance at 4. Okay, so I can write 2's maximum distance as 4, and where is 2 found at the lowest distance is nothing but 2. So I can write 2's minimum distance as 2. Similarly, another element which is repetitive in nature is 1. So 1 is found at the highest place of 5, means in the 5th position of the array, and 1 is also found in the 0th index of the array. So now what I'll do is I'll take the difference of the two indices of this particular values, and I'll calculate the difference to be 5, 2, and my output will be the maximum of these two differences, that is the maximum of 5 and 2, which is 5. So it's a very simple problem. How we can solve this? So the algorithm will be, we have to traverse the array to keep the last occurrence of each element using an hash map. We have to compute the distance between the first and the last occurrence, and lastly we have to return maximum of all these distances. The time complexity of this problem will be O of n and space complexity as O of n. So how we can solve this? So what you guys can see, I have taken a hash map of key and values as integers, and now I'm traversing the array from this first position, 0th position till the end, and every time I'm checking whether it is a repetitive element. So if it is the repetitive element, I'm putting the array at its particular position, and in the else part, if it is not a repetitive, I'm just putting the element as it is at the key and value. And if it is repetitive in nature, what I will do is I minus first occurrence dot get. So what does first occurrence dot get basically signifying? That abc dot get at that particular position, and max, we have to store a max distance value, right? So in the max distance, we are taking the maximum of the present distance and the initial distance which we are considering. So comma distance is nothing but the difference between the present and minus. So every time max will give you the difference between the present and minus. So if I want to do the hash map approach of this particular problem statement, what I can write is, say for example, this is my hash map. Now I'm putting 1. So 1 is the first element, and 1 is repeated how many times? 1 is repeated 3 times. The frequency of 1 is 3. Similarly, what we can see is 2. 2 is there, so frequency of 2 is also 3. Now if I say the positions of these elements, 1 is placed at 0, at 1, and at 5th position, and 2 is placed at positions 2, 3, and 4 positions. My task is to subtract the difference of the last occurrence minus the initial occurrence. Similarly, the last occurrence minus the initial occurrence. So that is how I have calculated it, and in a max distance I can return the maximum distance between the occurrences. So hash map approach is extremely important in order to solve certain problems which you might take, if normal if else conditions might take a lot of time. So hash map is an easy approach to solve these type of problems. So what we can do, we can just write this thing, and I can just compile this and check whether it works or not. I'll compile my code, and yeah, it works. So I'll submit it. Let's see whether it passes all the test cases. So if you guys could understand this particular problem statement, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we will be putting more amazing contents on arrays, strings, and all important topics which are related to placements. Thank you so much for watching it.